You need to start planning level 62 before it starts. In fact, the day before it starts, if you want to do good things. Once you reach level 62, some of your units can reach orange status. This is orange, for example. You see, purple +3, the next one is orange. Attackers are not there yet. Attackers will reach orange on level 63. Although this one is an attacker, so an attacker champion can reach it earlier. But an attacker SSR unit cannot. I'm talking mainly about SSR units. So this one, even if I got the 5 resources, which I would get anyway, even then you see that it's still not equipment required level 63, so you still need to wait 1 level. Why is this important that SSR units, some SSR units, for example Shark Trainer, can reach level 62 orange? It's because of the awakening feature, and this is the reason why already on level 61 you need to plan which of your units is gonna be orange, and then start the awakening process on the day, in fact at the beginning of the day, when you reach level 62. That's why you need upfront planning, if you want to finish this on time or ahead of time. When you launch the awakening process in the missions, you're gonna get this awakening tab, and you're gonna get 4 missions in total for each unit. The first one is easy. Deploy Shark Trainer with at least 3 charging units. Dragon Utopia. That's easy. And that's why, if you start completing the missions before you reach level 62, then there is a problem. This is what happened to me yesterday, because I could only reach level 62 by completing almost all the missions. So I couldn't do anything other than just selecting Shark Trainer, because by the time I selected Shark Trainer, this was already done. So I had to do this today. But if you can plan up front, it's a bit better. Now there is a larger problem in here, which implies that I thought that I would be able to do Shark Trainer, but actually I cannot. Because even though Shark Trainer is selectable on level 62, its mission is only selectable on level 68. This implies that we will need to select a different unit. Now, which units do we select? I'm playing Chaos. Right now I have no other way of looking at what other units there are in my union than browsing it. So this gives you Chaos, but you see Dark Champion is, for example, Necropolis, and the other one is, let's see, so Inferno Fortress is our primary, but there is another one that is Cove. So for example, Regnancy is a Cove unit. This is why I selected the alternative. So for example, this is a Cove unit, the Shark Trainer, and usually you want to awaken the units that are in the alternative 2 factions of your union. So for example, Inferno Fortress are the main ones, then Cove is the alternative, and Necropolis is the other alternative. So you might want to start with these. Another option is when you think about your second team. So my second team, thanks to the Judicator and some other units that I could get cheaply, is most likely gonna be Castle Tower, either second team or third team. The reason why Castle Tower works is that the alternative of the Castle Tower, the old faction, one of them is Rampart, the other one is Fortress, and I am playing Fortress as the main one. Okay, this means that I can use the champions of Fortress as units in Castle Tower as well. So you see how these units interact. And you could also select a Fortress unit that is an alternative unit on Castle Tower, and it's a primary unit for Fortress. Now, you also want to awaken the units of your main 2 factions, so in my case Inferno Fortress. So you're winning twice when awakening a Fortress unit, and the reason is simple. The reason is that you will want to enclose units in awakened commanders or champions. This is called the inlaying process. This is around level 100 or so. So when I awaken a fortress unit that is, for example, an attacker, because Rakshasa is an attacker himself, and once I awaken Rakshasa, for example, then I will need an attacker unit to inlay. That is also either an attacker unit or a fortress unit or an other commander champion. So first the attacker unit or the fortress unit, you can look at it, which units are fortress. Chaos Guild. And here you can see an attacker unit that is Pitfiend, fortress unit that is Wyvern, for example, it's also happened to be an attacker, or Hydra, or Lizardman or Gnoll. These are the ones, but for larger units you get more bonuses. So it's also possible to look at Hydra or Pitfiend and awaken it, but with Hydra, the alternative form of Hydra is gonna be a Castle Tower Order Union unit. So we might as well look at Hydra, how much it takes to reach purple, and start the awakening. Unfortunately, it takes quite a lot, because I need 31 of these resources, so upfront planning didn't work in here. You can also see some other units, for example Pitfiend. This doesn't hurt either, but here the problem is that you need level 63. Another option is Cov. Let's see Cov, where you see that you can level up, but the only unit that we have is Shark Trainer, so this won't work. But Necropolis may work, because Necropolis is the alternative form of Inferno Fortress, and we have an amazing 6-star skeleton that we can start awakening, because it's gonna be our defensive unit at the end. I have enough books, I just need 5 more, and given that I'll need these resources, I'll just sweep them. I purchased 2 energy, so I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough, but regardless, this is gold. 7, 6, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There are other sources of these resources, but I could get skeleton started. Unfortunately, we won't make it, okay? So this means that skeleton is not necessarily an option. And this basically limits my options very much, because I can awaken Shark Trainer, but the mission is not available. I could awaken this unit, but the resources are not available. They are kind of scarce. I cannot awaken Pitfiend because it's a 63 level issue. And you can see the missions in Wiki. I didn't have a look at the missions. So this means that the awakening is gonna happen a bit later. I've done this before, so I know that sometimes you just have to wait a bit. And it doesn't look like I have anyone else as a primary candidate for these awakening missions. Now, you see that I'm earning other currencies for these things, so I would need to spend these overworld stages anyway. We'll see how far we are from leveling up. Now I don't need overworld stages anymore, and I just have one more, so 5 books and 18 of these. And you know, at the beginning of the day you can get energy from the mail, like this, and you can also get it from friends. This is one, this is another one, and that's it. So you go back to the skeleton. With some upfront planning, I could have read the missions, and I could have concluded that Shark Trainer is not meant to be golden. And by the way, sooner or later you'll need all your units in gold for roster value because it gives you some talent, extra talent. Extra talent gives you extra levels. So this is level 10, for example, of heavy shield, and that gives you extra roster value. So now I'm gonna go and farm this 5 times. And for the remaining, it might happen that the energy is not gonna be enough. Yeah, it's not gonna be enough. 14. For the sake of demonstrating this, I normally don't purchase the 100. It's not a big mistake, but my strategy evolves around having just 2 energy purchases a day. On a few occasions the 3 doesn't hurt, and I'll tell you why it doesn't hurt that much. You want to stay in the mix more or less. Not exactly, but more or less. You see that your comparable competition, Nimving, Patril, basically those 2, so others are not. So basically those 2 are ahead at least by 1 level. And you don't want to be far behind if you have a competitive account, because the first place player will reach Stadvik first, the second will reach it second, then come Nimving and Patril. And if I'm way behind, in that case I will not reach level 90 by the end of Stadvik. Level 90 is an equalizer, and we equalize the levels, and you want to be there more or less, but not at all costs. So for example, I rarely ever buy 100 diamonds worth of energy. Others do it, but it doesn't mean that you have to do it. Now I will purchase 1 energy this time. As I said, it doesn't hurt much, but normally I don't do it. I just do 2 energy. And now you see that even though this is level 62, it's not there because the unit needs to be leveled up to 62. And now this is unlocked. So we can now spend 1 awakening as soon as it became gold. Here. This is the awakening. Before that, and before I forget, I start spending a bit on talent. Because whenever a unit is gold, you can start increasing its talent. The endowment I'm not gonna touch for this unit. There are other units that are worth more. And you need these units for your second team, for your third team. You don't get a 6-star unit every single day. So I'm leveling it up. But only until this. This is what I wanted, the roster grade plus 300. That's the reason why I did all this. I won't reach another level, and sooner or later the double up times 100 button is gonna be unlocked, and it's gonna be a lot more comfortable. Skill as well, once you get to gold you get another skill, but the problem is that if you look at my runestones, only 300, I don't want to spend a lot to go all the way to 15. I'm not even using this unit, I'm using it for roster mainly. For now. Awaken immediately, let's see. Yeah. In this case what you need to do is take the shark trainer, awakening, and give up mission. We abandon the task. And now we go to the skeleton and awaken immediately. Then you get some story with some excellent accessibility as usual. And now you go and Dwarven Treasury is gonna be the next one. Now let's see the Dwarven Treasury. 6th place. It's interesting because I will still keep my first position, most likely, but it's a bit luck dependent, and now I need to add Necropolis units, which destroys the whole experience basically. Now it may happen that you get screwed right here, because if you don't have 3 Necropolis units that are attackers, defenders, chargers, so ranged units don't count, casters and archers, they don't count, then you have a problem. And now we'll need to remove some of the units that were actually quite okay. And let's get started. So 2400 something was the previous record, and unfortunately we're not that well off. Although the devil is still dealing most of the damage, it's not the same as when I reached 2837, I think. So I'll leave some on the table most likely. It's also a bit luck dependent on what kind of dwarf spawn. Oh, new record, I didn't even know that. Okay, it was worth doing it. And now sweep from now on. And we took back the first place that I was basically training for. Some others have learned the devil strategy already, and while others just don't care. So yeah, here is the devil, and he has a 4-star devil already. Alright, we finished the first mission. Second mission, read what you need to collect in Guild Adventure: equipment. Equipment is kind of a useless thing unless you have to collect it. So let's see, done. I cannot wish it yet. And then the archery thing, I'll do it later. It was just reflex. We got back the 300 movement points. At this stage, when you only have 300 movements, you can do 2 of these travels a day. Okay, it's gonna disappear in 5 minutes. So we'll have to collect 2 pieces of equipment. That was 1 out of 5, so you need 5 in total. This is not equipment yet, these are just my ways of collecting spell scrolls, because we need spell scrolls as well. That's the second out of 5. And as they complete these realm monoliths, you get other rewards, so I would rather use those that are in the path. I won't fight myself, I'll fight Patril, that's gonna be easy enough. Third. I have 2 more. This is very much in the path. Disappears in 1 minute. For some reason this is... no, I won't do this because it disappears in 1 minute. That's the fourth one. Don't use names like this. Use Latin names. Because you get a disadvantage when trading rock, paper, scissors cards. Your name won't show up. And it has been like that for years. Software problem. Rendering non-Latin characters. It's not because of discrimination or anything. Oh, we can complete this. This is amazing. We're gonna get the chest. Guild coins, skill runes, roster box. So it's worth doing all 5. And you can only do 1. Your guildmates have to do the rest. So if you use non-Latin characters in rock, paper, scissors, your name won't show up. So you send someone a card and they don't know that you sent it. If you have 2 people or more with the same, then you will never know who sent it. It's just extra management overhead. And I think that's it, so I cannot go and get more, because 5 is the limit for the day. Okay, let's see. Nothing is here. Nothing is here. We've seen this as well. So all that is left at this stage. I can collect resources here if I have movement points and there is nothing else. But all that is left is go here, here, here. Claim. Get this. You can do the tunnel later, by the way, in the evening as well. So if you don't want these 3 extra movement points, then you don't have to. Sky Island. This is the green. I think we won't go very far. Oh, this is a waste out of these 2. They are all over the place. What are they doing? I thought it was a common. And Soviet is everywhere basically. Okay, this is the highest. Let's do this one. Although, if you check, it's not. No, this is mandatory, so it makes sense you're doing this because you need the map. You can choose between these two and you can choose between these two, but we're not gonna get there. We're happy to reach this level on a guild of this maturity. And by the way, when you do this, it's still part of the 5 fortress unit or 5 dungeon and red dragon. At this stage, I'm fine with fortress because I have some fortress units, but unfortunately if you look at my fortress units that I can still use 3rd, 4th, 5th, they are not developed well enough, so I'm better off just sticking to my team because I'm not gonna reach the damage cap anyway, and I'm dealing so much more damage with this team than with the replacement of those 3 units. Although, see, these are the main damage dealers. For some reason the Wyvern doesn't deal much damage. But I don't want to replace the Judicator, neither the defensive unit. That's the problem, neither the Shark Trainer. The Shark Trainer can be replaced, but not that much. Because the Sharks themselves deal some damage. So it's a bit difficult. I think at this stage we're still better off using the team. I mean, if it's Inferno, I'm closest. No, not even that close with Inferno. 3 units out of 5. I could replace 2 units, that's fine. But it's only Inferno. I even have a good enough Inferno defensive unit. So that's the last one. And I know that we can go back to the castle, so we don't have to stay in the spot. Because you normally stay in the spot when you go to the top, for example, to collect the chests. And then you exit with the back button. Now you can exit with the town button as well. And we have 2 teleports. I can use the teleport at the end, and there you notice that there is no monolith here. Okay, if someone creates a monolith here while you're on a mission, tough luck, but normally there is no monolith. So I'll be able to do this a bit later, one of the teleports, and I oftentimes have a good use case for the other teleport. And be mindful that you can collect these 2, but I don't want to spend any movement points on them, so just armor collection and we're done with the mission. Now you could go back to the awakening screen, but I don't recommend it, because so many people forget this. We've done our 5, so I cannot do the monolith either. So many people forget that they are somewhere in no man's land. Okay. If you teleport, this is just 3 tiles. You don't want that. But if you go here and teleport now, you do 4 tiles and you advance by 2. So that's a good use case for teleport. And use instant kill because on a month-old account, almost 1 month-old account, you have this. Okay, let's see. So the mandatory stuff is done. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to see where to go. I mean, I don't really have an agenda. I should have looked into the other location, but I think what I'm gonna do is go down and collect all the resources. I'm done with the equipment collection. Okay, if you're not sure about the equipment, just finish this and then this is gonna be the next mission. We will see this soon. But at this stage, always finish the guild, because if you don't finish the guild and you stay there, you're not earning diamonds and you don't want that. Instant kill as usual. Collect the resource. You have 3 instant kills, so from now on, unfortunately, it's gonna be battles. Pointless battles. Sooner or later, there is gonna be instant kill everywhere. So limitless instant kill. Sometimes you just get stuff, and if you click, you see this is, for example, a smart opponent. Okay, we need extra movement. Every day there is something for free, 100 movement points, and another 100 movement points for missions. I've done so many. Open the chests because you earn diamonds from them. I need the harpy as well. Too bad, you'll have to watch a battle. I mean, this is part of awakening. Doesn't matter. Done. And by the way, we do the guild mission not because we want the resources, that quartermaster finding, but you need to find the quartermaster so that you can do the same mission tomorrow. And when you do the mission on any day, then you get pathfinding bonus, which sometimes gives you free movements. Now, you see that at this spot, I'm in a sweet spot for collecting resources. And I'm not using this anywhere else. So I'm getting these resources. Good, we don't have to fight. And now we can decide how to use these 80 movement points. You can go this way and there is enough, more than enough out of resources. And if you can discover territory, then you might be able to get something extra. Now I want to teleport to this spot. It's not happening yet, so then cancel the teleportation. Try again. Now we can. Because I want to get the resource, the Cyclops, and the genie. Which is this time a crystal, but doesn't matter. And doing the guild adventure before leveling up the unit to orange, you may think it helps, but it doesn't. So if you're short on resources, it doesn't help because if you do the guild mission, then you won't be able to collect the second awakening mission because it's always linked to guild adventure somehow. Okay, we weren't lucky with this movement, so go back to the town. It's always 60 movement points during weekdays. Oh, this was a horrible movement, down and up, oh no, left and up, okay, that's... What is he doing? Anyway. Doesn't matter. So just wasting movement, it doesn't make sense. Okay, mission accomplished. So the third one is go to the underground stages and farm today 5 and tomorrow 5 as well, but 12 out of 14 days it's 4. So this means we can do 5. I'm getting the extra currency as well as other things, and here up to 36 tomorrow, not tomorrow, later today I'll come back and farm the remaining ones. I don't recommend ever spending diamonds on quick complete. 3500 diamonds to complete the full 100. It doesn't make any sense. This is a weak unit. I'm just using this as a stopgap for awakening the Shark Trainer or Devil or some other unit. So for example, I think next time I might awaken the Devil. Then the Shark Trainer. Why the Devil? Because then I will have an other defender unit. A defensive unit that is quite good. Although I don't necessarily need defensive units because I have a champion and a Divine Herald defensive unit. So, good question. But it's an attacker unit. The Devil is normally an attacker unit and it can be inlaid in the other unit later. So it has its use cases. And you can see the leaderboard who awakens what. So Red Dragon, Paladin. We awakened this one and Patril this one. It's interesting that others don't even use the awakening feature yet. Maybe they're waiting for something specific to happen. But until that specific thing happens, and in fact, for example, here you see level 64, he could have started the awakening process. Until something specific happens, you can at least awaken one more unit or two more units. And this is always good, because in roster there are special rosters near the end where you can just use these awakened units in here, so it doesn't hurt. That's awakening.